Is there a way to review your year without feeling worse about what happened and learn ways that you can start to grow in the new year? Absolutely. And today I'm going to teach you how. Welcome to the Balance Code Podcast, a place where you have permission to step outside the hamster wheel of day-to-day life and learn tools to create more balance. My name is Katie Russler. I'm a licensed therapist and burnout and hidden grief specialist. I support ambitious, goal-driven people who are ready to get off the one-way train to burnout and start to enjoy life to the fullest. Oh, and by the way, I'm an American living in Germany who's still learning the language, mom of 3 and an entrepreneur. Living my balance code is what keeps me able to work in incredible ways without burning out. Welcome back to the podcast. So we're going to be discussing how to review the year we just experienced. It's the end of 2023, and whether you're listening to this in 2023 or into the beginning of 2024, I highly recommend looking over the year before so you can see what you've learned, to see where you've progressed, to see some areas that maybe you fell back in that you didn't want to, and not to run from it. A lot of my clients are like, oh, I don't really want to look at everything that happened. Like, I don't want to face it. And whether we realize it or not, we're facing it. We are welcoming the new year. We're welcoming new experiences with the baggage of the past. So it's way better for us to acknowledge it, understand it, and then at the end of this episode, I'm going to teach you what to do with all of that so that you help release it and start the new year fresh. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is grab a journal or paper and pen and have it handy. Then I want you to grab your calendar, whether you do the paper calendar, which I love writing things down, or you have it on your phone, doesn't matter. And I want you to write in your journal or paper, January 2023. And then go look at your calendar of all the things you did that month, all the appointments, all the to-do list, all the things. When I used to bullet journal, this was so easy to do because I had notes in there of the things that had happened, positives and negatives and personal growth moments. I was one of those. I really love tracking it all. But now I'm just not able to track to that level. So I like to look on my calendar and say, what is it that I, was doing in January? What is it that I had put on my calendar as important? What was I doing in my work? What things was I doing with friends? And when you look at all of the things you did in January, I want you to just write down kind of a basic summary. I was really active in this, or we went on this trip or this vacation, or we had this loss or change or move or experience. And you can write 1 or 2 paragraphs, that's fine. But I want you to make sure you have a good summary of that month. And then you want to do it for February, and then for March, and so on, right? So every month, go in and write a reflection of what that month was like. What were the things you were doing? You can get super logical about it, like we did this many times, we did this many times. But I also want you to allow the memories to be recalled of also how you were feeling, what was going on during that time, what were you experiencing, and then write that as well. So we got both hemispheres of the brain actively going. We're like painting the picture while we're also looking at the math equation about it. Okay. Then I want you to go back after you've finished your year and look at each of the month, and I want you to give it like a phrase or a word, or if you're into music, like a song, something, and you could even do like a color, right? Something that identifies that month and kind of summarizes it in the way that you think. Some of us are really logical and we like to have it like a word. This is my word, or this is the phrase. Some of us want to find a quote that emotionally shows what it was for us that month that we experienced, or a color that represents it, or a symbol. That's fine. You choose what works for you. But I really want you to make sure that you're reflecting on what that month meant to you. And then once you're done, you're going to have 12 words or phrases or images or colors, and notice if there's any themes. In 2023, were there particular themes in your life? Were there particular things that you experienced, feelings you had? You can even go back into the paragraphs and circle the words you were using often throughout the year. Maybe it was busy, 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 stressed, or loss. Maybe it was exciting, adventure, a trip, another one. And you can look at all of those too to see, wow, not only do I have like these words or these phrases or colors to represent my year, but I also can see that there were trends. And I can see from those trends how that impacted my year. I know for me in my work, I got opportunities I'd never had before, speaking on stages internationally and being able to work with companies and teaching their employees better stress management and work-life balance. And these were things that I've done a little bit in the past, but this was like a heavy amount this year. And in my work, it feels amazing. I also had losses this year. I had changes and shifts that did not feel good. And so when I review my year, I have those too. So it isn't always that everything is great or everything is bad. And you might find certain categories of your life struggled more than others. Maybe your relationship did great, but your health did not. Maybe your work thrived, but things in the family didn't. That's okay. We often look at our year with a lot of judgment towards ourselves, a lot of judgment and shame and guilt and this feeling of not enough and failure and punishment, just fear and scarcity of, "Ah, well, if it couldn't happen this month or this year or this month, it's not going to happen next." But that's about us putting judgments on the things we've experienced and putting them in boxes so that we can categorize them. But often our boxes are incorrect, and they're viewpoints that are conditioned in us from our culture or our family, or just this is how we've always been, our personality. So when we look at our year in a more constructive way of what was the good, what was the bad, positive, negative, whatever identifiers you want to use, where are the growth moments? Good, positive growth where I was excited, good, negative growth where things hurt, but they were pulled out and away and boundaries were placed, and it actually was good for me in the end. When we look at our year this way, we see it's all about growth. It isn't about failures. It's about mistakes and opportunities to change. It's about trial and error. It's about seeing how, in some ways, things were provided for us, whether we meant for them to be or not. Things worked out, things didn't. Why didn't they work out? When we watch a movie, we're able to see from the beginning to the end what happened and why. And if the main character in the movie in the very beginning knew what they were about to get into, especially action films, right? Or like sci-fi thrillers, you're like, they probably would be like, I'm out, peace, done with this. I don't want to go through what we're going to go through, even if the end looks like that. I don't think I want to have to experience that. So if we knew our year was going to have those challenges and those hiccups and those issues, we might go, no, I'm checking out this year. But when we come to the end of the movie, we're like, oh, yeah, I get it now. I see. And some of you are still in the middle of your movie, even though the year has ended. And that's okay. But if we don't take a moment to sit and reflect back on the year prior and to go, okay, what have I learned from this? Where am I in my movie of the year, right? Like, where am I? Is there still a couple more weeks in December left as I'm recording this? So there's still things that can happen. But it's like, where am I? Where am I in this? Am I an active player in my life, or am I just passively letting things happen? Do I constantly feel like a victim, or do I feel like the hero in the story? Where do I fall? Now, once you look at that year in review, I want you to take a moment and write down, what would you like to see different in 2024? What are the things you'd like to see change? What are things you want to try that you didn't get to try in 2023? What are things that you want to see about your relationships, how they develop, or boundaries you place? Maybe it's changing your work or moving. What is it you'd like to see happen in 2024? And I would like you to write it in this format. I choose, and then write over whatever it is. I choose healthier relationships. I choose to travel to Africa. I choose to find a new job. I want you to write it that way, not as a like, I wish, I hope, maybe this will happen. I choose. This is what I'm choosing for the next year. And after reviewing my year before, this is what I'm choosing. And some of it might be the opposite of everything that happened in 2023. And some of it might be more of what happened in 2023. We're all on a spectrum, I feel like. As things have improved since 2020, in some ways, in quotations, improved, we realize that growth is not always about good feelings. And so when we reflect on a year, we start to realize, I needed those painful moments. I needed that uprooting so that I could root somewhere better, so that I could understand my resilience, so I could become stronger. Okay, I promised you I would give you a tool for how to release all the stuff that you are not happy about from this past year. So I end my year on December 31st, always the same way. My partner knows this, my kids know it, my friends know it. In fact, many of them have started to incorporate this activity as well. I take a moment, usually 20 to 30 minutes, so not really a moment, and I quietly write all of the things from the year prior that I don't want to carry with me into the new year. The pain, the hurt, the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt, the things I did, the things I want to forgive myself for, the things that other people did to me, situations that didn't work out, even if it worked out in the end in a good way, if my dreams were not met and I still feel a little ting of like, oh, it's not exactly what I thought it would be or how I thought it would go, I write that down. All of the things, all of the baggage, what I don't want to carry into the new year. And after I do that, I go outside and definitely before midnight, I burn it. I fold it all up and I burn it. And as it's, going up in flames and smoke, I really imagine the experience of physically, emotionally, mentally, all at one time, letting it go. Like, I don't want to carry this anymore. I choose to not bring this stuff with me anymore. And I've been doing this for years. And it is a powerful tool of us not having to bring into a quote, new year, any of the stuff that we're not happy about. Yes, well, we still have those moments where we feel oh God, yeah, that happened last year. But then we'll remember the burning letter that we released it. And go, oh yeah, I don't have to hold on to it anymore. I don't have to hold on to it anymore. So this tool I give to you. It's a wonderful tool to end the year with. If you're listening to this in January, you can still do the activity. It's just my own like weird thing about it has to be on December 31st. We all have our quirks. But do this activity as a way of going, I've reviewed my year. Here's what I choose. Here's what I'd let go of. Burn it, release it, let it go, and go into this new year with a mindset of growth, of balance, of learning more about yourself, and of trial and error, because we're not created to get it right. We're created to experience and grow. Okay. Whew, that was a lot. I'm excited to hear about the discoveries you have as you review your year and start to learn more about what you want to bring into the new year and what you want to release. Here's to finding our balance code. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, take a moment to leave a rating and a review. Interested in learning more about my work and the resources I have to support you in this season of your life? Check out the links in the show notes to connect and learn more. And as always, here's to finding our balance code.